YouTube, this is Jackie and I'm back with another cooking video. Haven't done any in a long time, but today I think I'm going to do something a little bit outside of the box. Many people always ask me to do something different, so that's exactly what I'm going to do. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some beef shanks. A lot of people think that they have to stick to just chicken and fish or just really flank steaks, but I'm actually going to do beef shanks. The shank is the leg part of the cow and it has a big bone in the center. So that's what I'm going to be focusing on today. And we're going to use a slow cooker with this, so it's going to take about 6 or 8 hours to do, but it's going to be phenomenal when you eat it. Keep in mind that if you cook beef shanks too quickly, they'll be extremely tough. That's Jonathan. Anyway, they'll be extremely, just ignore him please. They'll be extremely tough if you don't cook them slowly. That's why we're going to choose to use a slow cooker and only a couple of ingredients. The only seasonings we're going to use is kosher salt and black pepper. To accommodate it, we're actually going to use a red wine, either a Merlot or a Cabernet Sauvignon. I have to decide which one I'm going to use. And then we're going to use a little bit of a yellow onion, a half a yellow onion, a quarter of a red onion. You don't have to use red onion, but I like red onion, so that's why I'm using it. Or you can use a whole yellow onion. I'm going to use 1 celery stalk, as well as 5 garlic cloves, and I've chopped the garlic cloves up. And then we're also going to use some beef bouillon. So those are the only items that I'm going to use besides kosher salt and black pepper. So let's get started. Are you ready? Okay, here we go. Oh, just a quick note. This recipe will be in the Live Well cookbook, which will be coming out soon. So I'll definitely let you guys know when that comes out. So, okay, here we go. Let's get started. Okay, here we have 2 very decent sized beef shanks with the bone in. Simply what you do first is apply pepper, crushed fresh pepper, and kosher salt on the beef shanks. I'm going to turn them over, wiping the blood from the plate. I don't like to season my meat and then sit it back in its own blood and juices. Once I've wiped the blood from the plate, then I continue sprinkling salt and black pepper, kosher salt that is, on both sides of the beef shank. Just a pinch, not too much. Okay, now I'm going to show you a few items I'm going to use. Red and white chopped onions, 1 cup. I'm also going to use 4 garlic cloves chopped, as well as 1 cup of celery, 3 low sodium beef bouillon cube packs, and also you can use your choice of a red wine. I am actually going to use a Cabernet Sauvignon. Now I would add 1 tablespoon of organic coconut oil. You don't have to use organic, but I prefer organic. I love the way that it smells. And I'm going to be using this to sear the shanks on both sides. You don't have to choose between these. Once your oil is nice and hot, you want to pan sear the beef shanks until golden brown on each side. Takes approximately 5 to 7 minutes to get that perfect caramelized color that you're looking for. You want to make sure you sear your beef shanks on both sides. So flip it over to make sure it's equally seared. Like I said before, about 5 to 7 minutes is all you need. You don't want to cook it through. You just want to sear it, get a nice caramel color on there. Remove your shanks and put it onto a plate. Then you're going to take and you're going to caramelize your red onions, your white onions, your celery, and your chopped garlic. I'm going to test out the oil by placing a little bit of a garlic clove in there and make sure it gets a nice sizzle on it to ensure that the oil is nice and hot and ready to fry or saute the vegetables. So first I put in the garlic, and then I'm going to add the red onion and the white onion in there. And next I'm going to go to my drawer and get a tool to make sure that I stir it up for even sauteing. I'm using a plastic spatula spoon type tool here. You can use that or a wooden. I wouldn't prefer a metal spoon. Thoroughly mixing and coating the vegetables with the coconut oil. Okay, now I'm going to add the celery and let that cook to a nice little al dente. And as you can see over to the left, you see a pot with water and what looks like some mixture in it. That's actually 3 of the bouillon packets that I showed you earlier, along with a little bit of balsamic vinegar. Just a tablespoon of balsamic vinegar is into that pot over there. When the celery has been cooked, I'm going to add that to the mixture, to the celery, the onions, and the garlic mixture, and then put it into the slow cooker. So here's my slow cooker. I love this thing. We're only going to be using 2 sides, but it does cook 3 items at one time. Place your beef shanks into the slow cooker like so, 1 into each side. This can actually feed 2 or 3 people, 2 very hungry people or 3 little people. See, there it is. The vegetables have been cooked down with the balsamic vinegar and the beef bouillon. And I'm pouring some of the juices equally into the slow cooker. And then I'm adding equal parts of vegetables into each beef shank slow cooker container. So now another item that I'm actually going to add to it is rosemary. So 1 rosemary sprig, I'm just going to chop it in half. Well, not that one. Looks like I did more than chop it in half. I add the whole one to each one. Simply put it down in there so the rosemary will flavor it. And then I'm going to cut it in half and put a half in each one. So 1½ sprigs into each container. You can cook both of them into 1 slow cooker. You don't have to do like I did. This is just what I did. Then I add about 1 tablespoon of balsamic vinegar to each slow cooker. Put the lids on top and let them cook very slowly. 6 to 8 hours, 4 to 6. Okay, now they've been cooking for quite some time. I'm going to look at them and see how they look and see if it's been cooked down and tender to my liking. It looks absolutely yummy. Looking for the beef shank underneath and testing it out. As you can see, looks amazing. Checking the other side, checking for tender. The bone is actually falling off of the shank. Still a little bit tough, so I'm going to let it cook a little bit longer, maybe a couple more hours, turning the heat up to medium now. So the beef shanks are done. Now I'm going to add them on my plate. I have some quinoa, actually, feta spinach quinoa, and a little bit of Asian asparagus. So I'm going to be adding my beef shanks to my plate with my quinoa and my asparagus. Look at that. Beautiful. There's the rosemary there. Put the shank on the plate. Add a little bit of the vegetables. Take that big old bone out. If you like, you can set it to the side. That's your choice. Or you can suck on it. Whatever you want to do. But yeah, so I'm adding my shank to my plate. Lovely. Okay, you guys, as you can see, the dinner is done and we're gonna give it a taste. So like I said before, the quinoa has spinach, a little corn in it, a little bit of tomato in it, and it is cold, as well as some Szechuan asparagus. And here is the beautiful beef shank. So I'm gonna give it a taste and see exactly how it tastes. So you ready? Here we go. Check it out. Let's see. I'm gonna taste my quinoa first. Very soft in your mouth. Really, really good. And then the asparagus. Asparagus is good because it's a natural diuretic. So if you're ever bloated, eat asparagus. Oh, it's heaven. Okay, now it's time to test out the braised, slow cooked, not braised, but slow cooked beef shank in a red wine sauce. So here we go. Look how tender this is. It just literally falls apart when you cut into it. So, absolutely phenomenal. It's so good. The celery and the onions and the garlic is cooked down so perfectly. Gives a nice flavor to the beef shank. So delicious. I'm gonna eat everything on this plate except for this bone here. So until next time, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this edition of me slow cooking beef shank in a red wine sauce. So until next time, you guys, thanks for watching. Ciao. Live well.